Sit down and buckle up as I have a shocking story this week about one cabin that no one would want to stay in, along with an outrageous claim about Carnival Cruise Line. Ahoy, travelers! It's Amy here with your weekly Cruise News Roundup and my thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the week. Carnival is having a big week as the Carnival Vista just set sail on Saturday, July 12th for the first ever voyage to Celebration Key. This is Carnival's brand new private destination in Grand Bahama. This 64-acre private destination, which took over 3 years and $500 million to build, is a huge addition to the cruise line. Guests on this 8-night round trip from Port Canaveral will be the first to set foot on Celebration Key on July 19th. They will be joined by Carnival's president, Christine Duffy, for a grand opening ceremony. Cruisers can expect water slides, stunning beaches, specialty dining, and more. Though I am sure some kinks might still need to be worked out as this is just the inaugural visit. Carnival's brand ambassador, John Heald, is on board the Vista, sharing all the details on his Facebook page. Construction on Celebration Key is still ongoing with a pier extension in the works. But with over 100 itineraries already available to book, there's no shortage of ways to visit. Now, do you have a cruise booked to this new private destination? If so, let me know in the comments what you're most excited about for Celebration Key. Now, unfortunately, not everything about this cruise is coming up daisies, as our next story will attest to. So in a shocking post on X, the guys over at This Cruise Life posted photos from their experience on the Vista as part of this inaugural stop at Carnival's Celebration Key. Now, you won't believe the state of their cabin on embarkation day. They stated that they chose not to drop off their luggage when they boarded because they'd gone by the cabin, looked at the room, and decided it was way too dirty to leave their luggage in there. However, it was only a few minutes later that the announcement came that all rooms were available. I think this was probably the point where they knew something was wrong. It's another disgusting room on board Carnival Cruise. There is literally fecal matter dripping down the front of the toilet, blood stains and spatters on the bathroom door, shelves that literally weren't cleaned, and dust bunnies everywhere. Yikes. Photos show what looked like blood and fecal matter in the bathroom, along with general dirt and grime. Now, it honestly looks like the cabin steward completely forgot to clean this cabin. Maybe he or she went in, changed the sheets and towels, got confused, thought they had already cleaned it. There has been a lot of discussion over the past couple of years about how some cruise lines, Carnival amongst them, have reduced the number of staff and have been putting more and more responsibilities on crew members, especially cabin stewards. Now, I know Carnival's cabin stewards used to have an assistant that helped them out, but I'm not sure that's the case anymore. I can't remember seeing any assistants on the last couple of Carnival cruises that I've been on. Now, I seem to remember a news story about it several years ago, but I could be mixing that up with another cruise line, so don't quote me on it. However, with the number of cabins needing to be flipped in such a short amount of time on embarkation day, and with fewer and fewer crew on hand to keep standards up, it's not that surprising that we are seeing a lowering of standards, but this is too much. Now, they went on to say that after reporting this, the floor supervisor came and did a deep clean, but apparently not of the entire room, as they still found dust and dirt on shelving. Now, first off, I cannot imagine being the person who would have left their cabin looking like that in the first place. Who leaves blood dripping down the bathroom door? Clean up after yourself. But this is unacceptable. Every surface should be wiped down by the cabin steward to not only remove visible dirt, but also unseen germs and bacteria. Now, there were quite a few comments, but none said that they had had similar experiences, and I know I've never seen anything like this at all, which is why I do think it was a complete accident, and I do not think this is something that you should worry about if you are booked on a Carnival ship. However, I'm sure it will make you check out your next cabin closely, no matter the cruise line. Well, because of the special circumstances of this cruise, both with it being the first stop at Celebration Key and John Heald being on board, I'm sure the Vista was packed. Not that the number of cruisers on board excuses what happened, but it illuminates how important it is to have enough cabin stewards to do the job right. Now, what would you do if you walked into a cabin like this? Do you bring wipes and wipe down all the surfaces, or trust the cleaning crew and cabin stewards to have done their job? Let me know. Now, I know I used to do a wipe down, but after never having any issues, I kind of stopped doing it. Now, this makes me think I need to go back to doing a wipe down, even if I don't see anything. I always bring Clorox wipes with me everywhere I go, and multiple packages when I go on a cruise. So I've got them, I just need to use them. I think it is safe to say that you can expect a video from the guys over at This Cruise Life soon about their experience. Now, I have seen several social media posts focusing on the claim that Carnival is trying to discourage one specific type of cruiser from sailing with the line. Now, this has come after claims being made on several social media sites, especially I think TikTok, that Carnival is banning rap and hip hop music. Now, first off, that is not true, and I am not sure where that rumor has come from. I do wonder if it has any roots in the very real banning of personal Bluetooth speakers. Either way, I have seen several posts where people are claiming that Carnival is trying to encourage black cruisers to stop cruising on their line. Crazy, I know. Now, this became a big enough issue that John Heald addressed it on his Facebook page, saying, because of the different musical tastes and interests of our guests, we are now extending theme nights in our nightclub venues, and we'll play music that fits with the theme for the evening. So that will include R&B, dance, and pop hits, blues and funk, Latin and soul, and 80s and 90s hits, rap, hip-hop, and Cleveland, Ohio drum and bagpipe, among others. Now, those who follow Mr. Heald will know all about his references to Cleveland, Ohio. It's actually pretty amusing. A running joke, standing joke for his page. Still, there were complaints that Carnival doesn't play newer R&B and rap songs. There may be a very good reason for that. Are you going to hear popular songs that feature bad language and themes? No. Carnival is a family cruise line. Unfortunately, a lot of the newer music out there is in those genres is not family friendly. So not only is Carnival not banning any genre of music, they are obviously not trying to make black cruisers feel unwelcome. If the banning of Bluetooth speakers in public places is a problem for someone, it's not a race issue. Perhaps there may be some cultural differences in what is seen as behaviorally acceptable in social situations. Now, that is possible, maybe probable. However, when anyone of any race, culture, or social background finds themselves in a situation where they are around a lot of people of all types of backgrounds, some concessions usually have to be made. Now, of course, those of you who have been around for a while know that I have issues with people who behave as if they are the only ones in a public space. Whether on land or sea, some people need to do a better job of reading the room and being a little bit more considerate of others. And no one wants to listen to someone else's music or FaceTime conversation in a public place. Trust me. Being inconsiderate of those around you is not a black or white issue. It's about how you were raised. And I have seen people of all races and ethnicities behave as if they are the only person that matters on a cruise ship of thousands. Now, I hesitate to ask and keep it respectful, but what are your thoughts on this? Well, I hate that I am getting this video out late. Usually I work on researching and writing my scripts along with working on graphics and B-roll on Fridays and Saturdays. Then I film after church on Sundays while I still have my hair and makeup looking at least presentable. I don't do a lot with my hair and makeup, but still. Then I'm going to edit on Sunday afternoons. But I spent this weekend sitting with my grandmother. Now, she lost her balance last week. It was actually on 4th of July. and fell backwards into her washing machine. And she broke several ribs on her back. And they say that's like one of the worst pains. There's nothing you could do for it, but just rest and try to not get pneumonia. Now, my mom has been staying with her, but took a break to go to a bluegrass festival with my dad over the weekend. So I helped out, and I had planned to work on this video while I was over there, but I was just too mentally exhausted to focus. Now, as many of you know, I work nights, so I went to my grandmother's after I got off work on Friday morning. So she wasn't having a great day that day, so I didn't feel like I could just take a nap like I normally would. Normally on Fridays, I try to take a 2 to 3 hour nap. That allows me to then go to bed later that night, flip my weekends over, and be a day walker during the weekend. So, but I just really didn't feel I could do it. I took a 20, maybe 30-minute nap, and that was the extent of it. So then I stayed up until after midnight Friday night because she slept off and on all day long, and she's a night person. I think that's where I get it from. She is definitely a night person. I know how a lot of older people go to bed very early and then get up very early. She's the opposite. She goes to bed very late and gets up very late, normally. Well, by the time I went to bed, I had been up for over 30 hours because it was after midnight when I finally got to bed. And of course, I didn't sleep well either. It's not my bed. It's not my house. I live out in the country. She lives in the middle of town. She had her TV blasting for half the night. So I just didn't sleep well. Now, even though I'm used to running on less sleep than recommended, I was just wiped out, not to mention overstimulated. Now, I'm used to a quiet house full of solitude, maybe some music playing softly in the background. I don't watch a lot of TV, and instead I read a lot. I read a lot. But my grandmother had the TV going for like 20 hours a day. It was whether she was asleep or not, and of course at a loud volume, despite having hearing aids in. I always wonder, is this something all old people do? My dad also does this. He cranks the volume up and will fall asleep, leaving everyone else to have to listen to whatever channel he's got the TV running on. Anyway, I was so glad to get home to a quiet house and my own bed, but I am still tired. Well, are you ready for more information on cruising? Why not stick around and check out this video and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.